blessings be upon Muhammad and his holy progeny. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, paix sur vous. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded Algonquin territory. My name is Berak Hussain, and I'm humbled and with the honor to speak some words on why we are all gathered here today. We are here united under the banner of what our faith Islam teaches us, to speak the truth against tyranny and injustice no matter the time, place, or whom it is against. These are the core values of any person of any faith or creed who stands up in the face of injustice and in the name of humanity. Time and time again we unite to raise our voices together against a common threat to our way of life, our way of peace, and our ways of unity wherever we may live. And although this threat has shattered the lives of people all over the world in its evil extremist ideology, we do not bow down to its hate and terror. Over the last few years, the enmity has known no bounds in hurting indiscriminately on vast scales, destroying precious lives, destroying historical monuments, and trying to eradicate the truth of history as we know it. As Muslims and followers of the household of the beloved Prophet Muhammad and Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them all, we know this aggression all too intimately, where it is rooted in the evil seed of ideology known as Wahhabism, the ideology practiced and enforced by the ruling family of Saudi Arabia, formerly known as Al-Hijaz, the ruling entity that has created the evil we know as Daesh, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, and the likes. As Muslims and followers of the household of our beloved Prophet Muhammad and the Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them all, we have been specifically targeted by this evil through discrimination, hate, injustice, murder, genocide, threats to our ways of worship and devotion in the hopes of eradicating our love for the Prophet and his family. As Muslims and followers of the household of our beloved Prophet Muhammad and the Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them all, we say to them, the more you try to destroy us, the more we come back stronger fearlessly, for we are the sons and daughters of the fearless ones who see nothing but beauty in the face of the destruction that you have tried to reap upon us 1400 years. Today, we mark a crucial injustice, almost a century in length, 92 years since the destruction of the Baqee cemetery in Medina. This cemetery has some of Islam's most famous personalities buried in it, such as the infant son of the Prophet Muhammad, his aunts, nearly 7,000 of his companions, and most famously his grandsons and great-grandsons, Hassan son of Ali, Ali son of Hussain, Muhammad al-Baqir, Ja'far al-Sadiq, and al-Banin. And of course, in the land of Hijaz, where we will never know where she is buried, hidden from the ones who inflicted violence, terror, and murder upon her 1400 years ago, is the beloved daughter of our beloved Prophet, Lady Fatima al-Zahra. So let me take you. Let me take you back in time to the Baqee cemetery, a heritage site precious to Islamic history with a sad history, overtaken and razed to the ground by the Wahhabi Saudi forces in 1806, believing in their extremist views that it is forbidden to visit the graves. They plundered, murdered, raped, and destroyed all who stood against their views. Sound familiar? It is what we see happening today in our world. History shows that Hijaz, under the Ottoman Empire, restored the Baqee and rebuilt it again into what Western historians such as Sir Richard Burton describes in 1853 as a small, beautiful city resembling Istanbul. He mentions its white golden, slender minarets and green fields with 16 domes marking a collection of graves. This was once again destroyed on April 21st, 1925, the Islamic month of Shawwal, the 8th day, by the Wahhabi-Saudi alliance, once they had taken control of Hijaz, and now naming the land the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The biggest bid'ah, the biggest innovation of our times. British convert Eldon Rudder describes the Baqee's destruction, where all over the cemetery nothing was to be seen but little indefinite mounds of earth and stones, pieces of timber, iron bars, blocks of stone, and a broken rubble of cement and bricks strewn about. This image is a dagger placed in our hearts, especially when compared to the grandeur and gorgeous splendor of the shrines we see and visit all over Iraq, Iran, Syria, and other parts of the Islamic world. 90% of heritage sites in the land of Hijaz have been destroyed with the clear intention to wipe out the name of the Ahl al-Bayt and to instill terror and subservience to the Saudi regime. Jannat al-Mu'alla, the graveyard of Uhud, the house of the Holy Prophet where he was born, in which was turned into a library and accessible to only a few. The house of Lady Khadija, the Prophet's wife, whom he lived within that house, made into public washrooms. All a clear indication, shame indeed, shameful, and a clear indication of disrespect and dishonor to the legacy of our Islamic history and identity. The weak excuse of expansion with malls, public washrooms, towering modern skyscrapers, and the prevention of allowing the lovers of the Prophet and his household to pay their respects and homage to their beloveds is unacceptable. And it is why we are all here today, not just to voice our voices, but to also lobby to begin rebuilding a raised land that is our right to visit and to rebuild. If you just look around here, you see many heritage buildings and sites preserved, protected, and maintained for Canadians to know their history. And Canada, having passed its 150th milestone, also has had a sad history on which its land has been built on, with the recognition from the tireless and diligent work and lobbying of its Aboriginal people to preserve and protect their stories, their monuments, and their rights in this land of Canada. Today, we are voicing loudly as well our rights and our identity to protect, preserve, and rebuild our Islamic heritage sites in the Baqee cemetery. We shall begin the peaceful Baqee march now. Please stay within the bounds of our volunteers wearing the yellow vests and follow the leaders in the front down there. We will only be using the posters and chants from the organizers, and please be respectful of the passerbys on the sidewalks and the streets. We will be heading down, all the way down here, Elgin Street, down Sussex Street, and passing by the American Embassy. Passing, not stopping, okay? And from there we'll be going down Patrick Street to the Saudi Arabian Embassy, where we will be having our speakers. I'd like to present Brother Ala Nuhi Khan, who will begin the march and the chants, preceded by a loud salawat.